Hello, good afternoon, happy Easter. It is April the 4th. My name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Sports Talk. Uh, like always, if you haven't already, please subscribe, share the link. I'm trying to grow my YouTube page as much as possible. A lot has been going on in our area in Brownsville. Track meets are up in regionals, soccer teams. So I will do my best to provide the information of our athletes, local athletes, student athletes, students. So if you could help me out by subscribing, liking my page, it's on YouTube. Um, we start the show off sending condolences to Coach Marcia's family, the Lopez Lobos, who lost a friend, a coach. They recently won the district 5A title. So again, sending condolences out to uh, the family, the school. Uh, as coach, they always have impact on students. So it is a somber week so far for everybody in the area. So again, keeping our thoughts and our prayers with the Macias family. Uh, Los Fresnos Lady Falcons ah, were up playing against Ghana. They ended up winning 6-1. They had a great game. They will be traveling to play against Round Rock. They had a great performance against Ghana North. Uh, very very dominant matchup, 6-1, and we should be expecting the the Lady Falcons to compete against Round Rock in the next round. So special shouts out to the Los Fresnos Falcons on their achievements. For track, Cassandra Aguirre qualified to compete in the area track meet from Lopez. Congratulations, Miss Aguirre. Lopez men, the Lopez men are going to compete in area. So congratulations to them. Also, we have Jonathan Munoz in the triple jump. He placed second in this past track meet, and he will represent the Lobos uh, in the area competition. So congratulations to Lopez Lobos on their successes so far. Track meet has been great for both men and women in this past meet. The Porter Men Cowboys, just how the Los Fresnos Falcons had great success against Donna, winning 6-1. Lopez, Porter beat Sherryland 5-0. And again, it goes to a lot to say for this young man, Brandon Montes, who had a goal against Sherryland. Again, it was a dominant performance against Sherryland, and I want to share the goal. He makes it look easy, to be honest. Let's see, let me bring it up. He makes it look easy. Last game they played against Victoria East, if I'm not mistaken, and again they dominated as well. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Again, 6-1, very dominant performance. It was a great matchup. What can you say about Mr. Montes? Let me play the tape. Just making it look easy against Sherryland. And again, Brandon has appeared on our show. Again, making it look easy. Good for him. Brandon's been on our show previously back in October, before the season started. He was excited about the upcoming year, and look at them now, advancing to the next round. So big game for the Porter Cowboys. Congratulations, dominating on the court. We wish them much success. We'll be following them, of course. We'll be advising everybody of their upcoming game. Veterans, man, my heart goes out to the veteran high school. They had a great game against Valley View. It was tied with 2 minutes left. Not much was left into the game, and Valley View ended up scoring very late in the game, and was an upsetting win. But nonetheless, we're very proud of the Chargers. How's it going? Yes, we did show a highlight on your page, actually, of Brandon scoring that goal. I was saying how easy he makes it look, y que estamos muy agradecidos con Brandon, con el equipo, y lo vamos a seguir apoyando lo más que podemos. So gracias, Karen. So again, heart goes out to the veteran soccer team, boys soccer team. They played a tough game, ended up tying it, and unfortunately they lost it in the last seconds, honestly. But again, that's the way it goes sometimes. But it just shows that we have a lot of talent down here in our local area. Next year should be good for the Chargers. Going on to golf. Rookie. Going on to golf. This is the first time since 1979 that the Porter Lady Cowgirls will be going to regionals. So that's very, very big for Porter, for these ladies. Special congratulations. Golf, unlike my uncle who says that it's not a sport, I believe it is a sport. It is very, very tough, actually. It's one of the hardest games to play. It's a person, their mindset. You have to be mentally tough. So thank you. And yes, Tuesday at Corpus. So again, Porter Cowboys will be playing this Tuesday. We'll be sending out the information, the time, and it will be at Corpus. Thank you, Karen, for that. We'll be following the boys soccer team. Golf is not an easy game. It's mental toughness more than anything. So congratulations to the Lady Cowgirls for going to regionals, first time since 1979 for the school. So big congratulations. Lady Lopez Lobos, the Cowgirls, the Lopez Lobos, Natalia Ramirez, she qualified for regionals. So congratulations to the Lopez Lobos. We also had a karate tournament this past weekend, and one of the local talents here, Alex, the legend, Pete Ramirez, and Miss Chelsea Lopez, traveled, competed, performed. They had great representation of Brownsville. It was just a great event for them. Let me see if I have it here. And they, again, I think very highly of Elite Sports Karate of Pete and Eva Ramirez. And I went. Coach Pete was my PE coach at Lopez, and also my karate instructor for some time. I was really excited. He's come out in Sidekicks with Chuck Norris in the 80s and 90s. The 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 karate world knew who Pete Ramirez was. So it is a big event for him to come out and perform. Again, Pete Ramirez, Elite Sports Karate. I think the world of them. Uh, Again, Mr. Coach Ramirez was and is, in my opinion, a legend in the sport, in the area, in all of Texas. Really, he's traveled and competed everywhere, and we see that now with his nephew Alex, and we just see his potential and what he could become. If his uncle was great, he's probably gonna be even better. Way to represent the area. It was an awesome performance done by Coach Ramirez and Alex, his nephew. I'm sure it was a great for everybody. Um, Boxing with mixed martial arts. Sticking with mixed martial arts, boxing. Uh, we have Coach Rudy Juarez uh, here that took a group of fighters to Louisiana and competed. RGV Elite Boxing traveling to Shreveport, Louisiana. We have 9 fighters who signed up, competed in this event. We also had Omar and Coach Rudy on the show previously on Brownsville Talk, and it seems like the Juarez's, from the youngest to the oldest, is multi-talented. Again, elite boxing, had great competitions against many fighters. Brandon Juarez ended up winning the national title, and he will be in the junior team, the USA junior boxing team. He also had a great performance. And pull up the clip. He had a great performance, and it just shows that whatever they're learning from Coach Juarez has been amazing for these young men. Is it some highlights from his fight in Louisiana? This is the championship fight. From Brownsville, Texas, representing the national championship fight. He stuck it out. It went to a decision. Hard fought matchup. It was close, but ultimately Juarez ended up getting the victory. So what a great performance from the Juarez brothers. Again, there's no talking about Omar having all the success that he has had. Seeing Sebastian, one of the younger brothers, win on that stage is remarkable. But not only that, they also have another brother who's playing football. 2 of his brothers are boxing, and he's playing football. He's playing up in Bethel. His name's Rudy Juarez. He was also a boxer. He just chose to pursue his goal of playing college ball. And this video just shows you everything. He's a beast on the field. 79 yards down the sideline, up the middle, score a touchdown. Um, what can't these Juarez brothers do? So this all happened within a week. Again, special shouts out to the family. I'm sure for them it is a great accomplishment, great feeling to have talented young men who are pursuing their goals, their dreams of doing what they want to do, and not only that, but most importantly, being successful, representing the area uh, well. So special shouts out to the Juarez family. I always freak out on that because I'm like, man, all this happened. When I learned about it, I was like, man, all this happened in one weekend. Like, there's so much going, so much talent in that family. So special shouts out to them. Again, a lot has happened in our local sports. If anybody has come across something um, that has happened, that is going on, I'm big on chess, Destination Imagination, uh, any other event, poetry. We recently talked about that just to bring some recognition. Go ahead and email me, message me. I'll be sure to look into that. Um, to look into that. A lot has been gone with sports at the national level. Uh, Baylor and Gonzaga, Aussie. Yeah, it was a great game. By the first game was against Baylor and Houston, and I had a lot of friends, of course, rooting for the Cougars. Um, I was expecting it to be a close matchup, competitive matchup. Baylor came on strong. They were up by 25 in the first half. Um, they just dominated. They had an easy victory. You knew by the first half that these guys meant business. These guys were on a different level. Um, they they were just able to compete, and it was no question that they were more talented. Again, I expected big things from Houston. They had a good run, but again, Bader will be in the championship and against Gonzaga, and Gonzaga had a crazy game. They played against UCLA. Um, Many thought that it was going to be a blowout, um, but it was a very entertaining matchup. Suggs had a great game. They were up by they were tied with 3.3 seconds left. Jalen Suggs with the three to win it for the championship game uh, against Baylor, and you just see from that clip how incredible that throughout the throughout the matchup. It was just back and forth, back and forth. Um, it was a very interesting game. I think UCLA was favored to lose by 14, if I'm not mistaken. Um, they kept it close throughout the whole game, and it was fun to see the way it ended. Unfortunately for UCLA, but it was a great game. Jalen Suggs, who hit that game winner, is the cousin of Terrell Suggs, the Ravens. The Ravens defensive end for many years. So what a great accomplishment, achievement. What a feeling. And we have him saying after the game, I've always wanted to run up on the table after a game winner like Kobe and D Wade.
Um, Again, what a great game! It was very entertaining. How's it going, Dario? Did you watch yesterday's game?
No, but I saw the game winner.
What do you think?
Yeah, that shit clutch as hell, dude. And he was talking about, you were just saying, imagine hitting a game winner from the Final Four.
From the Final Four, like it doesn't get any bigger. It really doesn't. I'm thinking about, I think, who was it, Villanova against UNC a couple years ago in the championship game. I think they hit it to win it all. And the game is tomorrow. Baylor against Gonzaga at 8 p.m., 8:20 p.m. Gonzaga is favored to win by 4.5. Ozzy, who you rooting for? I'll be going for Gonzaga. Unfortunately, Baylor is very good. I'm hoping that Gonzaga goes undefeated, but we'll see how that goes. Jalen Suggs, early round for the NBA. Yeah, he's pretty good. We'll see how he does.
Bro, everything Dan has said has been wrong, dude. Remember last year with the fucking NFL playoff? Everything he said has been wrong, bro. The NBA championship, he had the Nuggets going to the finals. Dude, get out of here, bro.
Hey, the West is open now with LeBron. Now with LeBron going down, but we'll see how that goes. Bring this up, but politics does get in the way of sports. We recently had how the All-Star game was moved from Atlanta. We heard how recently the Republicans, they passed a law which some saw it as trying to oppress the African American vote, and it ended up causing friction, obviously. And the MLB, they were hosting their All-Star game in Atlanta because they wanted to commemorate, celebrate the life of Hank Aaron, who recently passed away. And now, after Georgia passed this restrictive changes to the state election process, which the new law would add restrictions that they would be required to identify for mail voting, make it illegal to take food or water to voters in line. Some people have said that this is just making it harder on people to vote, that they're discouraging them, things like that. So the baseball, they ended up announcing yesterday that they relocated, that they're going to relocate the All-Star game. Many businesses had said that they're going to be affected because of them not having the game. You know, restaurants make money, hotels make money, taxis, Ubers, everything like that. Like as a state, as a city, they were going to lose financially. What's your take if you want to jump in on this? Do you think it's a good deal? Is it cancel culture? How people are saying? Are we sensitive?
It's a little bit of cancel culture, but the thing is, they got the numbers back last year. I just got off the phone with them right now. They got the numbers back with the COVID. You know how they had no stadium, they had the bubble for all major sports, and the numbers went down drastically. You know, even though they're letting in betting and the DraftKings, you know, and all this bullshit, but the numbers went down. The NFL salary cap dropped for the first time in ever, I think, or something like that. The salary cap dropped $7 million. So the elite guys are looking at the numbers and they're probably thinking something like, "Yo, bro, we want more money. We're not about losing money." And even though these guys are like major corporations and they're major, they're like the NFL is probably the biggest corporation and one of the biggest corporations. Even though they're sports, they're still corporations trying to make money. So they saw that. So they're in this kind of position where they're not, they're all for pushing this COVID propaganda kind of, oh yeah, we got a bubble. But then they saw their numbers drop for their net profit margins and said, okay, we need to chill with this stuff. We're not going to push that no more. So they're kind of caught in this middle space where they're trying to still appease to these people over here and try not to open up and but they just want more money. So we saw where it happened, where they're already pulling major sports already pulling out of Georgia because of the the bill that passed.
Yeah, you're right, and brings us up to the next one. We have you being an avid golfer. We have the Masters. The Masters is coming up in a few weeks. Next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
It is held in the state of Georgia. Many people have said, okay, well, the MLB is, and you're right. It is a business. It's a business decision. You want to be politically correct. I do think that it was the right decision. Anything or anybody that would try to discourage in any way a person's ability to vote, I think it's not right. Whether that's food or drinks, like, come on. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Like it's just bad for them to try and do that. We have seen how the PGA, they announced that they're keeping their championship, the Tour Championship in Georgia. Again, major sponsors, major money is involved here. It's not just an easy decision of it's right or wrong. It's more of, they have to ask for permission. But should they ask for permission? That's a different story. But a lot has been going on. Will the Masters move? I personally don't think so. I think this is going to be something that is too late for them to cancel out. We are a week or two away from it starting, for them to scratch it. And the Masters, days, and the Masters is kind of one of those things where it's the Masters. Like, you can't simulate that in another field or course or area. Again, I think last year they didn't have it, so they lost money for that. If they lose it for 2 years in a row, it's going to be catastrophic, because they make money off of that.
You probably already know this, but anyone that doesn't, there's 4 majors in the PGA Tour. 3 of them are held on a kind of rotation, like 11 to 13 courses that they rotate every year. But the Masters is the only one that's played at a single course, Augusta National. That course is close. They don't play any other tournaments on that course for the whole year except the Masters. So it's a big deal. The Masters, it's the green jacket, it's the crowd, it's the previous champion giving the green jacket to the new champion. But the way the MLB is making it, it's almost bigger than the game. Like when the MLB pulls out of a state because of something that was completely not sport related, it sounds like this could be bigger than the game. It could be bigger than just a ball going in the net. It could be bigger than a ball going over a fence home run.
Yeah, I agree. Paul's saying it more for gift cards. Anything's possible. Anything's possible in politics. We down here have the same issue, if not down here on a bigger level. It's tough. It's tough. But I think baseball had to do this. How can you celebrate Hank Aaron? But then again, the sports team, the Atlanta Braves, they put out a statement saying that, hey, instead of this being a dialogue of using this event, these recent events as a learning experience, you just cut us off. So it just goes to show that people like the Braves, again, they were going to lose lots and lots of money, but they, of course, wanted a chance to host the game, and the press release, can't really see it here, but it just says that they want dialogue, that they want to be able to use this situation to encourage people to discuss issues and come to some sort of agreement. And of course, the Atlanta Braves team, they threw it on, well, the businesses here, the city here, the state depended or looked forward to this event financially. Again, more to celebrate Hank Aaron. So it just goes to show that a lot is invested in these games. Politics always comes into play in any situation, whether it be corporate, whether it be, your average softball team. How's it going, Paco? They could have used it to bring discussion towards making a change. That's what the Atlanta Braves wanted. The Atlanta Braves wanted to use the situation and say, hey, okay, we aren't in the Atlanta Braves might not be in agreement with the decision that was made by Republican lawmakers out of Georgia. So they're saying, hey, we're not in agreement with that. We could probably say, hey, look, this is what we can do. But again, it's kind of hard to deviate or go against the law. Once it's a law, it's done. Again, the person shouldn't stop arguing and making defending those values that many people have. So it just gets tricky. But Paco, that's what the Atlanta Braves wanted. They could have used it to bring discussion towards making a change for the future. That should have been the reason, in my opinion. NBA, we had Joel Embiid come back from an injury. The Minnesota Timberwolves ended up playing the Sixers. Embiid's first game back, and we have Towns just jamming on Embiid. And again, it is his first game back. He
Bro, why you
the
show
Sixers
that?
the Sixers depend heavily on Embiid. But do you know the rivalry, the history between Karl Anthony Towns and Embiid?
No.
They've been beefing, like, and Embiid. Embiid's kind of like he's sarcastic in his news conferences. He'll throw out jabs at other people and stuff. And him and Karl Anthony Towns have been at odds or whatever. And I think it's been like a couple times where Karl Anthony Towns jams it on Embiid, and I don't know. To me, it's funny. How are you seeing NBA so far in the East?
Well, you're speaking of the Sixers, Joel Embiid. He had a big game. We did like 26 or something, but still, Frankie, pull up. Everyone gets lost in the numbers and all this stuff, but there's an NBA, especially. There's a presence factor. Just being on the court and the kind of basketball IQ you bring to the team, if you make your teammates better, all this stuff. And if pull up the numbers, he was 0 for 4 from the 3-point line. This is just my thing where I don't want a fucking center, 7-footer, shooting more threes than my starting guards. I understand he's maybe trying to space the floor, whatever they're trying to do, but bro, if you're Joel Embiid, you gotta body up and get in the paint, dude. Yeah, don't worry about stretching on that floor. You're 7 feet tall and all this stuff. And he went 0 for 4. And those are, in the playoffs. I mean, I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but in the playoffs, every possession matters. And when you lose 4 possessions, that's points on the board. That's numbers on the board. So, I'm not saying anything bad about the Sixers, but I kind of am saying something bad about Joel Embiid, where get in the paint, bro. Stop shooting so many fucking threes. He just stop shooting threes.
Yeah, he when he has it, I'll give him that. But for the most part, he shouldn't be.
The problem. He has it. You don't want a 30% shooter shooting 4 threes of a game.
Yeah, and you're right. He did have 4 missed threes. And I agree with you. He's a big man. He's supposed to be defending the paint. I don't want him near the 3-point line unless it's crucial purposes. Yes, sir. Center shouldn't shoot threes. I agree. Again, the big guys are always going to be shooting threes. Gasol's been shooting threes. There have been a lot of big men that have been shooting threes with little success. But again, I do like him as a player. Embiid, he brings a lot to the team. He's injury prone. The Sixers are always very cautious with him. So we'll see how the Sixers end up. Here they regained first place in the East, tied with the Nets. The Nets obviously have been off for the past couple games. The Bucks are in third place. Hornets and Heat. Are you surprised by the Hornets lately?
Well, they had the injury to LaMelo Ball, but I'm thinking if they stay in that 4 spot and Miami stays in that 5 spot, they might get swept by Miami. With the Hornets. Put up their roster. I don't know if the Hornets have any playoff experience. You know what I mean? But what I'm interested in those first 3 spots. Things have changed. There might not be home court advantage. How it is. Chill, bro. But yeah, on the West side, we could speak on that. But what I'm talking about is that those top 3 seeds, like it says, they're 2 games behind each other. 3 is 2 games back on 1. The Nets and Sixers are even. The Nets they have who's injured. I think it's James Harden and KD are both out right now with hamstrings. Something about their hamstring. But it might not be as decisive because Frankie, correct me if I'm wrong. Home court was something almost to die for. Like it was like you need that home court through the playoffs. You need that home court. But now it's just travel, and a lot of these teams they don't even have fans on the court, and if they do, they're real spaced out and it's limited capacity. So I wouldn't be if I what I'm saying. Play your fucking hardest, but I'm saying don't be so distraught if these teams don't get this home court advantage, and and with all these players so injury prone, I hate this load management bullshit. But if these guys are going to be getting injured every other fucking week, maybe they do need to take a couple games off. Maybe they do need to limit their minutes because you don't. I want to see every team play A+ in the playoffs. You feel me? I don't want guys to be injured. I don't want guys to be he's on limited minutes. He's so maybe they do have a low management.
The clip that I just played, Gordon Hayward just got hurt. He's going to be out for another 4 weeks. So we see how in the East, it's the Sixers and the Nets are going to be fighting for first place. So we'll see how that goes. The Hornets lost Ball. They lost Gordon Hayward for a significant amount of time. The Bucks, Giannis doesn't have that, let me take over, dominate so far. How are they going to do? The Heat, I don't expect them to go as far, obviously, as they did last year. So we'll see who comes out of the East. I'm like everybody. I'm riding that train. I think the Nets. I think the Nets are going to take it. They're too strong. LaMarcus. They just keep on adding All-Star after All-Star. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, a lot can change. In the game of basketball, anything could happen. Look at UCLA. They had it. They were there. But again, we'll see how that goes. On the West, obviously the Jazz, Suns, Clippers, Lakers, and Nuggets. So Dan wasn't too off. The Nuggets are third. They're 2 games out of third place. So these standings are going to change. LeBron James is sidelined with a ankle injury. Anthony Davis is also sidelined with an Achilles. They call it they're resting his Achilles. How does the West look to you?
Well, the Lakers, Andre Drummond's out also. And his debut, it didn't even look like he was playing his own ball. It looked lost almost. He scored like 4 points or something in his debut. The next game he gets like either like turf toe or some like a right toe contusion, something like that. If I'm the Lakers, all hands on deck. You feel me? All hands on deck right now. If you have your top three players, none of them are healthy. It's go time, bro. They need to unlock their badges. They need to unlock from bronze to silver. Try to get the gold badges. The bench players, all of them. Marc Gasol's gonna have to step up big. Do those European passes, bounce passes. But now they have their top three guys, and look that first game. Hopefully, the thing about Andre Drummond and AD and LeBron, now with that addition of Drummond, no one's really talking about it, but before they added Drummond, the only way the Lakers would win the finals was if AD and LeBron played exceptional basketball. But now with that addition of Drummond, it kind of takes a little bit of that load off of LeBron and AD, and if just let Drummond cook a little bit in that paint, get his boards, get his 15 points. It takes a load off the whole team. And there's a big difference between the way Drummond plays basketball and Gasol plays basketball. Gasol's really, he'll be in the paint, but he'll stay at the top of the key, kind of play through Gasol a little bit, maybe do a couple pick and rolls. Drummond is primarily in the low post, gets a lot of rebounds, a bunch of boards, offensive rebounds, kicks it out. So I want to see how they play. It's going to be a completely different dynamic, the Lakers. But now those three are injured, bro, and they're playing the Clippers today, and the Clippers also have some injuries. It's on a red alert.
It is on red alert. In my opinion, I've seen them that they're going to continue to be slipping down the West. It's been impressive how they've been able to. We'll see about that. It's been impressive how they've been able to.
Now that they're in this city, it's not going to happen, dude.
They have Caruso coming up. They have a good squad. Obviously, they won't be able to compete without LeBron.
Without LeBron, they're like 3-5 since he's been out. So,
Yeah, and they really don't want to rush. They really don't want to rush Davis back from injury early. So this is something that unfortunately, you have to wait out. You're not going to rush LeBron. LeBron's already up in age. Could this, hinder him even more? He's 38, 39. With AD, you see him being as your future, since once LeBron leaves, it's him. He's it. So they're being very cautious. They should do everything that they can to try and see what happens. Unfortunately,
I want to get your take on. Go ahead. No, I want to.
They had big expectations for. They had big expectations for Drummond, and how you said he got hurt in the first game. So it hasn't fallen in the Lakers' favor. So I see them dropping by the end of this year to 5th, 6th, possibly 7th seed. Unfortunately, what were you gonna say?
No, I don't think the Lakers. I think the Lakers will be just fine. I believe in Frank Vogel, but I want to get your take on. Damn, I lost it, dude. I had a good take right now. I was gonna ask. I remember. Frank, I want to get your take on. Okay, check this out. So there's like two ways the Lakers can play this, right? They can go all in this season, and they could be like, you know what, AD and LeBron, you're gonna have to start playing right now. They're not gonna be at 100%, but who cares? We need you back ASAP. Or they could be like, you know what, take your rest. We're in it for the long haul. Just get back to 100%. If we don't win the finals this year, well, it's okay. We're building this dynasty. What's your take on that?
I don't know. I think everybody wants to create a dynasty. I think those are the expectations of every team. I just simulate all games on my Xbox that I bet. I guess that's he's using the computerized analysis part way of betting, I guess. I don't know. That's my take. People just want dynasties. What's your take?
Now I say you bring him back. I say they're 70. If AD and LeBron, like, I could walk, I could jump. Say, all right, suit up, dog. You're back in the game. I say do or die right now. I say you go for gold this year. Fuck all this bullshit on the. We're saving him for he's gonna be our franchise cornerstone for the next couple seasons. Nah, bro, win right now. Especially in the Lakers, they do that a lot. Where Shaq and Kobe, they had that three-piece. West split up, and the most iconic duo of all time was Shaq and Kobe. But hopefully they stick with that mentality where win now, ice up later. Well, I kind of hope for that. And everybody's making this super team. Next season there may even be more difficult. A super team might have gone better. But I say, and if they're dropping, like you're saying, if they start dropping in that, they gotta be like, yo, okay, we don't care if you're 70%. You can't even. You're hobbling. We need you back out there, bro. That's what I'm thinking.
But you can't really force. Like, I don't know. I think the way they're going about it should be the right way. You do your best to not injure your players. Look at and the prime example for me is look at KD. Everybody cheered him on when he came back, in my opinion, earlier than expected. And he ended up getting hurt. So again, we'll see how it goes for them. They should, in my opinion, write it out. See how AD is coming back next week. You see, I think that's what people are expecting. Like, hey, if we don't have our superstars, we're not going to make it. So, hey, you're right. Suit up. You got to go. Again, a lot of money's riding on this. Legacies, reputation, money, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a big thing. The
Frankie,
Spurs.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of the Lakers, they're playing the Clippers. Are you looking at this game as a mark this on the if they meet each other in the playoffs? Are you looking at this game and kind of taking off this one because they have 3 starters out, the Clippers have 2 starters out. So is if they are, we're speaking figuratively at this point, but if they do, if both teams are 100%. In the playoffs with all their stars healthy, do you even reference this game and the way they kind of get watching tape on this game? Are you seeing this game today in like an hour or so or 2 hours as something that could be a momentum shift to who holds that LA crown?
I don't know, but obviously, compared to the Clippers, they're not, they're nowhere of being competitive here. They're favored to win by 11 points against the Clippers. I don't personally think that this game would set a precedent for the next game when everybody's back. I think this is a wash game. This is let's not try to lose by double digits type of game. I wouldn't rush AD. I would want him to be as healthy as possible for the next 3 or 4 years. This game today against the Clippers is just let's do our best out there. A lot's going to change once Drummond, AD, and LeBron are back. So, what schemes could you run now that you're going to run later? You probably won't with this roster that's going to change. Hopefully, in a few weeks, everybody will be back. I don't know how long it takes for a toenail to somewhat heal because you're always. Trash. Hey, well, they've been doing so good lately. They lost against the Magic a couple games. It hasn't been good for the Clippers. But again, we'll see how that goes. Brooklyn, Chicago.
I kind of agree with Dan, Frankie. Like the Clippers kind of are trash. They don't have no one that rebounds the ball real well. They're not healthy right now. They don't have. I mean, no one's putting up no one's putting up all-star numbers. I'm not saying that they're trash. I'm just saying, you can make a case how they're not a legitimate team right now. I mean, they got Zubac, coming in with like 8 points, like 4 rebounds as a center or forward or whatever the hell, or yeah, something like they don't shoot the ball extremely well. They get a lot of possessions. They don't play at an exceptional pace. Maybe I'm hating on them or something, but I think the Lakers are a better team than the Clippers, in LA at least.
Right now or
right now and in the playoffs. Even with Kawhi and even with PG and all them.
Yeah, I have seen personally lately how the Clippers, they haven't been able to close out games. We saw how they lost against the Magic. It was a horrible performance. They were up at the half like by, I don't know, 11 or 12. And for them to lose against the Magic, who pretty much dismantled their team, they sent everybody out, if I'm not mistaken. So it doesn't look good. It's hard to count out Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, I think it was 2 nights ago that prime time against the Nuggets, Jokic tore him up inside, outside, passing the ball. It made him look like a fucking MVP candidate, like a legit. Like the Clippers they couldn't handle him. It's just anywhere he was shooting corner threes. They're playing through him in the corner. The Clippers had no end. They made a run towards the end there to get it within. They had a little run there, but the whole game, Jokic was just tearing them apart, and that's what I mean. They're just at least they look good against regular season teams, but teams that are better than them, quote unquote, better than them, or on the same level playoff teams. I just looking at the Clippers like I don't know if they're the real deal championship caliber.
Yeah, I don't see that right now. At least from them, they have looked horrible lately. But again, we'll see how it goes for them. I personally don't think. I think it's going to be somebody that we're not expecting to come out of the West. I don't think the Lakers. I don't think the Clippers. Might be Denver. But I don't see it yet. But I don't have your typical Clippers the LA teams coming out of the West. Maybe Utah. I talked about Utah. Maybe Utah could pull it off. I don't like Portland. Dallas has been impressive. Luka, of course. Porzingis. I don't know if they were going to shop him earlier, but he's not a second fiddle to Luka, unfortunately. San Antonio is hanging on to 8th. I think they're tied with Memphis.
They have that play-in now. Do you remember that? They got the 7, 8, 9, 10 go into I think it's a do or die for the last 2 spots.
It's kind of how playoffs. That's right.
Yeah, how they do wild card in the MLB. How they have that.
Yeah,
they're going to do
so it's going to be a 1 game. It's going to be a 1 game. Wow, that's going to be fun. So the 8 and 9, is it the 8 and 9 standings will be fighting for the 8th spot?
No, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll get into those last 2 spots.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, it's going to be interesting. We'll see how that turns out. I think that's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people question it, saying, "Oh no!" But again, it's all about money. There's a way to make more money out of this, and it's a way to give teams, it's more competition. It doesn't seem as easy as I guess as compared to previous times where a team just plays 3 series and wins it all. But again, it all leads down to money. Anything else that's been happening out there?
NFL, you want to touch on the big signings or something in the NFL? Or did you see that UFC cards Stipe against Ngannou? Did you see that?
Yeah, Ngannou's he's a beast. It's said that they want to make the the fight with John Jones, and that's the only fight, big marquee matchup out there.
John Jones said he was tweeting out, he gets on his coke rants or whatever. Love him or hate him, he just to remind people, this is the guy that at 3 a.m. in the morning he hits a pregnant lady. She's 8 months pregnant. He hits her 3 a.m. He gets out of his car, sees in his car. He gets out. He realizes she's pregnant, and he just runs. He's jumping over backyard fences. He's got busted for performance enhancing drugs. And he said 10 mil to fight Ngannou. Too little, bro. Too little. So that's just at the level of money that this guy's at. And speaking on UFC, Conor Poirier trilogy coming up, probably like in July, something like that. If I'm in Conor's team, I'm telling Conor, yo, chill, bro. Poirier, Conor made a mistake when he took on Khabib. Khabib was peaking. He was on that. He's never lost. Conor, he didn't even fight. He got his ass handed to him by this guy, this grappler, and he lost, standing up. I'm gonna reference Canelo because when Canelo fights, even though he's undefeated, they still give him feeder fights, just to kind of pad the stats, just to kind of, it's a marquee matchup and quote unquote, and they sell the fuck out of it, but still it's just kind of to pad his stats. And then, 3 or 4 fights will pass and they'll give him, Madison Square Garden or there in Vegas or T-Mobile Center, and they'll give him that big match or that big fight, excuse me. But they still, that his opponent may be still undefeated, but they're nowhere near the same caliber that Canelo's on or something. And that's what I'm thinking Conor needs to do. Conor's jumping in. He jumps in, he's trying to grab the bull by the horns. He jumps in, tries to go Khabib. He beats Cowboy, which is already, he's on the back 9 of his career. He jumps in and is going to fight Poirier, at that time he was the most dominant. They put some stat. He was the most dominant champion to one up to that. And if I'm Conor, or if I'm Conor's team, I'm telling him, yo, bro, chill, bro. We got to take a couple steps back, get back in it, take off that ring rust, and then we get that big fight. There's no reason to jump in, full throttle.
That's Conor though. That's his personality. That's the way he sees life. He sees fighting, I guess. We have seen how his rise to stardom seemed pretty quickly. When you were talking about John Jones rejecting a $10 million fight, McGregor makes 20, 30, 40 million a fight. I think he gets like a certain guarantee, and then he gets a cut from the pay-per-view sold, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. We've just seen how these guys have really, really taken control of their careers. They've maximized the amount of dollar or value that they have created for the sport. That's very impressive. These guys aren't your typical fighters, obviously. I guess it's interesting to me because it's more like he's a contractor going to a company and saying, hey, this is what I offer, and I'm valued at, more than 10 million. That's impressive to me because it's you change the sport, you bring more money, you bring more attention, to me this is like these guys are used to that. So by McGregor saying, oh, I want this fight again, I think right now this is the big money fight. He hasn't won a meaningful match in a while. It's been a while since he's won consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, what was it, the Nate Diaz fight, maybe the trilogy?
No, he fought Cowboy Cerrone between the.
It was Cowboy. You're right.
That's not a Cowboy's a big name out there in the sport of UFC, but Cowboy was already. I think that was his last fight before he retired or something like that. But Poirier also turned down. Dana White not confronted. He went up to Poirier and said, "Yo, we got these guys lined up for your championship." And Poirier said himself that he wanted a trilogy fight with Conor. So, Poirier's all for this big time, big money, big lights, big showtime. You feel me? But you know, we're going to see Connor out there. And I would hate to see Connor, you know, the great of a man he is, to get his ass handed to him again. You know, I say, Connor, yo, you get 2-3 big ass fights and then you let Poirier kill you. But, yo, chill out, bro. You're jumping in full throttle and shit. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I personally don't think, if anything, I think it's going to be that the UFC is going to hand McGregor the fight via decision. Again, this is a big marquee fighter that you can sell pretty much. He sells, so you need him to be successful. Khabib officially announced that he's done. I think he showed up like at a pay-per-view not too long ago. So what other big names besides McGregor, besides Khabib, besides Israel? You know, there's only a handful that you can. John Jones, Ngannou. There's only a handful that you can say, hey, we're gonna make 2, 3, 4, 500 million off of this fight. So we'll be seeing how that turns out. What else? What else do you have?
Damn. Okay, so right now, no, it's no big deal. Baseball, way too early predictions for the for October. You have any way to, as opening day just happened on Friday, I think it was, or Thursday. You have any way too early championship prediction, World Series prediction?
The Yankees are always going to be talked about winning it. The Dodgers, they did lose against the Colorado Rockies, their opening game. They spent a lot of money. You expect them to be there. Boston, surprisingly, Boston has, you know, it's only 2 games into the season. They have lost against the Baltimore Orioles in back-to-back games, and they don't look good offensively. Mm-hmm. They got a handful of hits in both games combined. Tampa being a low budget team, I do expect them to be competitive. They made it to the World Series, losing to the Dodgers last year in the short COVID season. The Cubs in the Central should be good too. Cincinnati just beat St. Louis yesterday. I was rooting for St. Louis, unfortunately. So we'll just see how this goes. I think it's going to be your typical in baseball. You know,
one
Dodgers,
team you didn't throw out there, Frankie. One team you didn't throw out there, the Pirates. We already saw what Tatis can do. Tatis Jr. can do last year with his rookie season. The Blue Jays also with Guerrero. Is it Guerrero Jr.?
Guerrero Jr. and Springer.
He's injured right now, but long season,
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. The East with the Yankees, Tampa, and Toronto. That's going to be that's going to be a tough division. Will the Tampa Bay Rays make it back to the World Series? I don't think so. They were kind of like the Cinderella last year. They were dominant throughout the season. They had a hitter hit 10 home runs in the postseason leading up to the World Series. They got good hitters. They're low budget team though. Mm-hmm. Can they compete against these big markets and winning it all? Back with who was it? Back with Longoria, when he was like a rookie, I think, or like a 2 or 3 years, they made it to the World Series. Who did they lose to back in the day? So this is the second time in like 10 years, I think. 10 years that they made it to the Super Bowl, which is to the World Series. And that's also impressive because, again, being a low budget team, mm-hmm. They get not that many, superstars. What they have is a good collection of ball players that, for whatever reason, the GM has managed to make it work. So we'll see. I do like Toronto. They're a young team. They have Dante Bichette, and Craig Biggio's kids playing and they're 2 and 3 in the lineup. So they have a tough team. The ones that are going to be slumping, unfortunately, is the Rangers, the Texas Rangers. Mm-hmm. They've been losing. I think it was like 11-4 yesterday. 15-10 last game.
Yeah, they lost. Didn't they trade Odor or cut Odor?
They just cut Odor. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Cubs are going to be competitive in the Central. So it's going to be a fun MLB season. I fortunately I got to watch all the MLB games because I have the free T-Mobile Tuesday, and the MLB and T-Mobile, they have a contract, or they're cool with each other, and I got the whole season for free, which is amazing. So I'm able to watch all the games with the exception, unfortunately, of the Astros and the Rangers because of the area blackouts that I get. But I'll be following baseball.
And if you want to touch on NFL a little bit, you want to touch on the Deshaun Watson scandal that's happening, or
yeah,
no?
it's
Whatever.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I was just asking you. And you see Tiger. You remember how Tiger got in that accident?
Now they're not disclose the reasons why.
What do you think happened? What do you think it was? You think it was texting and driving or something?
The
reason I mean, he was somebody that enticed his attention to something else that caused him to do all that.
I think it was pain medication. Unfortunately, I think it's one of those where if he does this, it's probably ruin his career. Not ruin his career, but I guess
hinder his.
He doesn't need no more. No. He doesn't need no more very bad publicity, in my opinion. Absolutely. And I think his team, I think people around him, people that depend on him, they needed this to go away or whatever. I don't know. At this point, I just want him to get well and not even focus on golf, man.
This is not his first encounter with some kind of car. There was a time he was asleep in the side of an interstate, knocked out, and I don't know if you remember the mugshot. His eyes, you could tell when someone on those pain medications or something, where you could see like the white in the bottom, like you have the pupil and you can see his eyes. He was like out of it, and so I think your hypothesis is correct on he was on some kind of medication that let him when that Range Rover is.
Poor guy. They're selling his mugshot for $7. I felt bad for talking about him, but homeboy is selling his mugshot for $7. Only in America, people will people make money off of that. Wow. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up, but man, I shouldn't have brought that up. They're saying his mugshot, poor guy. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it was, that's my. I hope not. I hope that it was. He lost control, but then that car. That's funny, and I hate to bring this up again, but that car was his sponsor. Mm-hmm. Maybe that was another reason why. They decided to play it cool. Maybe he was messing around, how you saying, or he was doing something and he lost control. And what's that going to say about the safety of this vehicle? Sponsorships, if they get involved, I don't know. I've always thought about that.
Is his fair share of surgeries and rehabilitation, and he's been in and out. He's been under the knife a couple of times and all this stuff. So usually with those surgeries, they give him some kind of medication. Maybe he is abusing those opioids or whatever. Hate to see it, but I hope is what I mean. He was apparently he was in the ER for a while. He said he had a couple broken legs or some broken bones. It was good to see he's okay, but is this bigger than just a car crash? Is this kind of going? You want him going through withdrawals or something from medication, but you don't want to see a slippery slope of this opioid epidemic going to a superstar like Tiger. This is all fairly speaking. I'm not saying I'm not
Yeah, no, I hope I'm wrong. Like I hope I'm wrong, but I share the same, you know, outlook of it, because that's what it seemed like to me. Again, I don't know, you know. I hope he, if I hope he learned from this. If it was, and if it wasn't, you know, I hope he just lost control. But there's cameras that were watched that have monitored that he was speeding, or the car was speeding. I don't know, but Tiger, you know, there was talk about him being the greatest. In my opinion, he is in our generation, obviously, but ever. I don't know. He still has a few to win.
Absolutely, Tiger was he was the most dominant.
Yeah, he was.
You have to keep in mind, bro. He would at his prime or whatever. I would go to you and be like, okay, I got Tiger, you got the field, and that was an even bet for a couple years there. It was Tiger versus the field, bro. Like this guy. People can't comprehend this talent that this guy brought to a tournament. It was him against everyone else. It was, you know, he broke the color barrier. Also, you know, there's racism when someone wins the Masters. The next year they do the meal. They choose the chef's meal for the next year. And there's, you know, people like, oh, what are they gonna make fried chicken and collard greens, and they're being racist to this guy. But you know, just Tiger still, you know what he did.
Yeah. Again, I hope not. I wish him well. I hope there's not a problem. You know, hopefully it was something that was out of his control, and he recuperates and, you know, makes a recovery soon. Who do you have for the Masters?
Masters, DJ. If DJ plays, I got repeat on Dustin Johnson.
Back to back. Damn. Let me show the odds. The odds, it shows Dustin Johnson favored, Justin Thomas, Bryson man. I don't know who none of these guys are.
Really?
Only Jordan and Rory. I really don't remember Dustin Johnson. I don't pay as much attention as I should, I guess. That
was a big name. Justin Thomas on the cup of the PGA 2K game. DeChambeau is he's the it's a whole thing in DeChambeau. So what he did in this past two off seasons ago, I don't know if you know golf, how the clubs get progressively shorter the more loft there is on the club, right? You never buy a set where they're all the same length. So what he did is he took off the shafts, the steel shafts, he put graphite on them, which no pros do that. Then he made all his irons the same length. So his 9-iron is the same length as his 5-iron. Never seen that before. He gained like 50, 60 pounds of muscle / fat, and he was just hitting the ball as far as he can. He hits the ball. And the reason behind this was like, okay, I'm gonna try to win majors, because he had PGA Tour victories, but in the majors he was never within the top 30 or something. Like, he missed the cut more than half of them. So he did all this stuff. He's doing crazy stuff. He putts in a kind of pushes the ball when he putts. His irons are all the same length. And his reason was to win majors, and he did. I think he has 2 major victories since then. And then John Rahm, the guy, he's a Spaniard. I think he's number 2 in the world. And Jordan and Rory.
Again, I only watch. I sometimes watch on Thursdays. I'll take a sneak peek when it's starting. But I'll be sure to follow it closely. That way we can provide coverage on it. Happy Easter, man. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon. We'll do it again. We'll do it again next week.
Bet.
Bye, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a good Sunday.